Thank you for joining me. These YouTube clips are a labor of love, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I do making them. The purpose is to help open up some doors, educate, but if they don't resonate with you, let them go and move on to the next. I hope you will sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Belinda writes, would you speak a little about what happens to a spirit when they pass suddenly, like in the case of a heart attack, as opposed to someone who passes after a lengthy illness? While I imagine the process would be somewhat similar, being greeted by loved ones, I imagine there would also be some differences. Well, it's funny that you mentioned heart attack. I had an uncle who passed away on the table in a hospital from a heart attack. And it was really interesting because the day that he passed away, my very young daughter had pulled one of those young daughter things, and I was very angry with her, and I sent her to her room. I said, you know what, you just go to your room. So after she was settled, I started seeing these white things flashing around, and around corners and over my head and all this, and I thought, okay, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's very important that I note the time. Well, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, my mother called, and she said, your uncle passed away. And I thought, it's important that I don't mention anything about what I saw, but I said thank you. She was pretty worked up and pretty sad about the whole experience. So I called his wife and I said to her, I understand that my uncle passed. And I said it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, even though my mother said it was 4. And there was silence. And she said, how do you know that? I said, I just know it. I know it was 2 o'clock. And she said, well, I didn't want to upset your mother. I just couldn't call anybody for those 2 hours. I had to compose myself. So I said to your mom, I had called her just after 4 and just let her know. And I said, that's fine. I understand the secret's with me. But what I gained from that experience was that they weren't ready for him. Spirit was running around, preparing his time into the spirit world. Now, not all spirit are going to experience, or not all people who cross quickly are going to experience that. That's just my experience, one of many, many, many. But I do know that their loved ones are there, waiting for them. And if they're not immediately there, they certainly know soon enough that they are greeted by those who have crossed before him, so, or before anybody. Whether it be animals, like your favorite pet, or people, acquaintances, loved ones, family, they're all there. And it's actually a huge celebration going into the spirit world because they're so happy to have you back. I think that that's really the only difference between someone who has had a lengthy illness, and I feel more prepared, perhaps, going into the spirit world, not always, but most often, as opposed to those going quickly. But the dominating experience is that they do not pass alone, that there's always somebody waiting. Now, I do want to say those who have lengthy illnesses, if you're in that situation and you're wondering about the process, I will say this: when your loved one who seems to be ready to cross into spirit is starting to talk about those people who have already passed in the room, talking with them in the evening when nobody else is around, start paying attention, because they're becoming more spirit than they are human. And it's a normal, natural thing. Loved ones will come and visit and just let them know that, you know, all is well and everything's okay. And there are, you know, when your loved ones becomes lucid at the end and you think, how can they pull out of this? I mean, they're so clear and calm, collected. They've got their intellect and they just have so many visions and of good things ahead and plans and future. You also have to understand that that's also part of the dying process, because I think the soul provides an opportunity for us to say goodbye and to allow the person who's moving into the spirit world the opportunity to be there for the loved ones he or she will be leaving. Doesn't always happen that way. There's no set rules about death and dying for the spirit form, but I will just let you know that it's a celebration on the other side. It's a happy thing for those who are waiting for their loved ones to reunite and live again together.